house, and then for my car I pay $792, and then I had like $422 left, and then I just put that in savings.
Great, excellent.
Wait,
All right.
Was that from residency?
Yes.
For 57,000. Yeah,
Mhm.
good. All right, so how about we have an algebra student share? Mrs. Cook, would you like to choose one?
Well, does anyone want to volunteer first? I'll give you a minute.
I'll surely do. I'll tell you all about my broke life as an immigrant.
All right, Lily, turn that
All right,
video
Lily.
on.
That's all of us here.
Yeah, we can all, okay, anyway. So for mortgage, I found a house that was $180,000 exactly, and me and my partner and I split. So our mortgage is $379, utilities $250, house upkeep $50, car payment is $166. I found a car that was like $8,998. And then auto service and upkeep is $80. I screwed the allowance, like I said, since I'm not going to be able to afford that. Groceries $250 still. Gifts none. Miscellaneous none, because can't be able to afford that, because I'm kind of extremely broke. And then clothing's $50. Hairs $50. Cable internet phone package is none, because also not going to be able to afford that. Savings is $138. I had to remove that at the end because I was still in debt. And retirement is $245, and taxes, yeah, $489. And I'm doing no donations, like I said, because I'm the one who needs the donations, and I'm not gonna there you go. Yeah, that's pretty. Oh, and my income is $2,447. There you go.
Thank you. So,
Wait, Lily, I'm sorry. Lily, can you repeat again? What was your income?
$2,447.
Per month?
Yeah.
Okay.
that's a little over $24,000 a year, which is nothing to live on. So, as you all are looking
I'm
at
even more broke than you. I earn less than you, Lily.
1,000.
I actually went to every
earn
job and
1,000.
saw which one made the most money, so I chose that one in the end.
Bruh.
All right,
Some
I
people
have
are more
part-time
So
poor
the
than
jobs.
you.
next thing,
Okay.
bring it back in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this and learn a little bit more. So I'm going to share my screen with you and show you the next piece. So bear with me here as I do that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you about linear versus exponential growth. And this is actually in your OneNote. But you can just watch. You don't really have to go to it in the OneNote. So I'm going to just describe this to you very quickly, and then we're going to talk about your retirement. Ha! That's the good stuff. When are you going to be able to retire? Okay, so linear growth. So this is an example where there's 7 days. And over the course of these 7 days, there's $4 that's being made each day. That's what this represents, okay? Linear growth would be where I add that amount of money every time, right? So 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 plus 4 is 12. If you look at my formula bar, you can see I'm multiplying the day times the amount of money I made. So on day 1, I have $4. Day 2, I have $8. Does that make sense? 2 times 4 is 8. So this is called linear growth, and I have a graph of it right here to show you what that growth looks like. It looks like a line. That's why it's called linear growth. Then we have exponential growth. So I want you to look at the formula and see if you can look at it in the formula bar, see if you can figure out what's happening.
It's 4 to the power of the day, right?
Excellent, Daniel. It's 4 to the power of the day. So this first one is 4 to the first power. This is 4 to the second power, which is 16. 4 to the third power, which is 64. Look how fast these numbers grow. So this is called exponential growth. And you can see over here, I have a graph of the exponential growth. And what you'll notice is that the numbers grow slowly at first and then get faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And that's exponential growth. And what I want you to look at, first of all, we're all getting ready to do all this work with looking at graphs for our migration collaboration project. And we've talked about one of the important things with graphs is being able to read them correctly and looking at the y-axis and the x-axis to do that. So can anybody tell me anything about comparing my linear growth to my exponential growth when they read the y-axis?
The y-axis grows far quicker.
Yeah, the y-axis is way bigger than that y-axis with linear growth.
Yeah.
So you might look at these two, and if you don't pay attention, you won't be able to compare them appropriately. Does that make sense? So what I've done is I've put them together into one graph with the same y-axis. And you'll notice that now the linear growth that looked like it was going up so much in that first graph is actually flat. It looks like a flat line here compared to the exponential growth. And what I want to tell you is that your salary is going to perform much more like linear growth, and your savings that is based on compound interest is going to grow much more like exponential growth. So you cannot expect for your salary's growth over time to be much help. You can only expect for your money that is growing due to compound interest to really be of much help, to really gain much for you in your life. So I'm going to go back to OneNote. Let's all click on the retirement tab because we're going to do something fun now. So we all learned from Charlene and Marcus. We learned about what to do and what not to do, right? What did Marcus do wrong? Who can tell us?
He saved too late.
He waited 10 years to start
He waited a really
saving.
long time to start.
That's right. And so he only saved for 35 years and Charlene saved for 45 years, and they saved the exact amount. And what was the difference? How did that compare? Charlene and Marcus, how did their long-term savings?
Charlene became a millionaire, and then Marcus didn't.
Right. Charlene became a millionaire after 45 years. After 35 years, what about Marcus? In comparison,
He was like,
you don't have to know the number.
Half the money.
Half, right? 35 years compared to 45 years, he had half the money she had. So we want retirement and understanding compound interest is super important for you to have money over time. So if you're a migrant worker, maybe all you can afford to put in is $1 a week, right? If you're not and I say migrant worker, I'm referring to our immigrants that come over here that don't have education. That's what I meant. Let me clarify, because not everybody that comes over here doesn't have an education, as we well know. So if you have an education, I mean, we can even separate it out and not even talk about immigrants, and we can just say people that don't have an education compared to people that do have an education are just going to have more opportunities to make money, right? Which is why your parents are spending the money to get you a good education and get you into college, right? Because they want you to have a sound financial future. So, you know, I've seen where financial advisors have told people, instead of buying that Starbucks every day, take the money you would spend on your Starbucks and put it into your long-term savings and let it get compound interest. And that can make a huge difference when you think about something at Starbucks costing $5 a day, right? So even if you're someone who has a lower paying job, $1 a week, whatever you can afford to put into that long-term savings. So anyway, I'm going to share with you this retirement spreadsheet. So I'd like you to all open this up with me. Open your own retirement spreadsheet up. It's in your OneNote under the retirement tab. This is going to be full of formulas, so don't click on anything yet, or you don't want to mess up your formulas. Okay, so just like we did before, when you open up your Retirement, it says yearly retirement plan. Remember that your budget is monthly because your bills come monthly. But when we're talking about long-term savings, we're going to look at it yearly like we did with Charlene and Marcus, okay? First thing I want you to do, if there's a button anywhere that says click to access, or sometimes there's a button that click to be able to enable, that's what it'll say. If you see a yellow button that says click to enable, then click that. Then again, you're going to go to File, Save As. You should now have a math folder. You're probably already in it. Go ahead and click on Save. You don't need to change the name of this or anything. Just click on Save into your math folder. Oh, hold on. I'm in the wrong place.
Do we only save the retirement?
So you're saving, that's right, you're saving your retirement, your yearly retirement plan in with your budget. So save that in there. So
Wait,
now,
how do you save it in the budget one? Like it's a separate document.
it's a separate document. You're saving it in the same folder where the,
Oh yeah, it's in my math folder.
right, you're saving it in your math folder.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another file in addition to your budget file in the same folder. Okay. All right. Now, once again, if you click in the wrong place, you'll mess up formulas. This is all those lines are formulas. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to type your yearly income in cell B2, and then everything's going to populate for you. And we're going to see how to read this. All right. So for my example was 40,000. Don't put a comma. Just put your yearly income into cell B2. It doesn't have a line in it. That cell doesn't have a line in it. And it's right beside the 0. Okay. And then hit enter.
Wait, so you just put your salary?
Let me do it again so everybody can see. Okay. You go to cell B2. This is your yearly salary, not your monthly, your yearly salary. The one that we said could not be more than 75,000. If your doctor is 57,000. I was a teacher, so it was 40,000. Don't put a comma. Hit enter. Now, what you may see is the following. This is a little bit of spreadsheet work for you. You may see 75,000 is the largest you can use. I'm not going to say that again. Please quit messaging me about it. Send the directions. Okay, so if you see these hashtags, right? If you see these hashtags, all that means is that your column is too skinny and we're going to have to make it wider. There's a trick in Excel. If you click right over here in this gray area where my cursor is, you see it right there? It's beside the A and above the 1. If you click there, it highlights all your columns. And then if you put your cursor so that it looks like my cursor on the line between any 2 column headings, the column headings are letters. So you see how there's that letter between E and F? If I put my cursor there, it looks like a plus with arrows on the sides. If I double click, it'll make all of the columns as wide as they need to be to show all of your data. And then of course, the other thing you can do is you can just drag one column wider and it'll make all the columns wider. So that's a couple tricks for Excel.
Wait, do you have to do that or no?
If you're seeing hashtags, you'll need to do that to see your data.
But if you don't see hashtags, then you're good.
That's right.
For the percent of yearly salary invested, if you lowered it because you didn't have enough money.
Hold on, we're not there yet.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody gets their income in. Are there any questions about getting your income in this? I have it set up for 45 years, just like Charlene and Marcus's spreadsheet. Okay, Control S to save. Once you've got it looking good, Control S to save. Any questions before I go through the spreadsheet and give you some options?
No.
Okay, now I had you all save 10% of your income for your, now this is your retirement. This was not your monthly savings. This was your retirement. If your percentage is lower or higher, you're going to have to change that here. Now, let's think about how to figure out what your percentage is if you changed your number. So let's say back on my budget, so I'm sharing my screen so you can see how to do this. Let's say for my retirement, I have it at 10%, but let's say I had to cut it down to like $200. So the way I'm going to figure out my percentage is I'm going to take that $200 and I'm going to divide it by my monthly income, 3333. Okay, that's 6%. So what I would have to do is so everybody understands that 0.06 is 6%, right? So I would have to come back to my retirement spreadsheet. I would have to type in 6 instead of 10. And I'm going to show you a little trick. You can grab this little box and drag it straight down, and it will copy. It's an autofill feature. It will copy that 6% and adjust all of your numbers. If you were higher than 10%, sorry, same thing. Go back and figure out how much. Let's say you had a lot more money. You decided, hey, I'm going to really save for retirement. Then again, you would take the amount that you have for retirement. Remember to type equals if you want Excel to calculate. I'm going to take the amount for retirement, divide it by my monthly income, which is the number in cell B20. Now that's 12%. So I could come back to my retirement spreadsheet, type in 12, grab that corner, drag it straight down to copy it.
Wait, how do you do that again?
Which thing? I just
Oh,
did about 3 things.
Well, we're doing it right now. Like, what should we do for that column?
You mean to change the percentage
Yeah,
or to calculate the percentage?
like to calculate it.
So to calculate the percentage, you go to your spreadsheet with your budget.
Okay.
You look at how much you put into your retirement. So let me highlight that in a different color here. I'll put it in red. So that's how much I have in my retirement is the $400. So I'm going to type equals 400. Basically, I'm dividing the amount I'm putting into savings. I'm dividing that by my monthly income. The
Okay.
monthly income is right here.
So like if you put in $150 for retirement and your monthly income is $2,374, then you would divide 150 divided by 2,374, which would give me 0.063, a lot of numbers. So that'd be just 6%.
You got it.
Wait,
That's
so
right.
if I have, for retirement, I have $503. So would I just divide that by by 3?
Whatever your monthly income is beside the word income. That's
Okay.
what you divide by. Yep. And then you're moving your decimal 2 places, right? Because it gives it to you as a decimal, and decimals, you move your decimal 2 places to equal percent. So yeah, go ahead.
Can you show one more time how to do the highlighting to make all of them the percent of yearly investment?
Absolutely. So I'll go back here to the right here. I'm going to change mine back to 10% because that's actually what I had. So I'm just going to type 10. And then you can grab this little corner. There's a teeny tiny little corner. I don't know if you can tell, it's a little bit darker. And when you put your cursor on it, it changes to a plus. And this is an autofill feature in Excel. When you get that plus, it means it's going to copy. So I'm going to drag down.
I got 9.9%. Would I round it to 10?
Okay.
Would I round it?
No.
Okay.
Now put in the percentage that you have. So now we're going to see how much money you have at the end of 45 years and how long it takes you to get to $1 million. And then we're going to apply that 4% rule that we learned about in my class. So for me, it would take me 45 years at 45 years, I'd have $1,390,000. And it would take me, it looks like, based on this calculation, it would take me 43 years to have $1 million. All right. So I want to hear from somebody in algebra. Somebody in algebra, tell us how much you have after 45 years.
I only
45
have,
years, I have 47,000.
How are you guys so rich? That
I
makes no
have
sense.
594,000.
I have
I have
686,000. 686,000.
I have 594,000.
How are you so rich? I don't get you.
1,020,000.
All right, so I'm going to call on some people randomly, and I just want you to tell me how much you have at the end of 45 years. Spence, how much do you have at the end of 45 years?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I have 1,530,000.
Great. Max, R, how much do you have?
I haven't finished calculating yet.
Allison, Lee, how much do you have?
Like at the end,
Yeah.
2,154,984.
Oh, stop flexing.
Way to go. Bailey, how much do you have?
Dang.
Ellen, how much do you have?
I haven't finished yet. I mean, I haven't finished yet. Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry, I haven't finished yet.
Macy, how much do you have?
1,786,763.
Awesome. All right, kids. So now one thing I want you to keep in mind, I want you to watch, and you can have a little bit of time, like after we're done today, if you need to go back and finish your budget, finish this, you can, okay? It's not a big deal. You just want to have all this done by tomorrow, and I'll tell you what we need you to have done by tomorrow once I finish going over this. I want you to look at a couple other things on this. So our return, what does return mean? Let me pick on one of my kids. Misha, what does return mean? Actually, I guess you're not. Dana, what does return mean?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's the amount of money you get back from keeping your money in the bank.
That's right. That's the amount of money the bank is giving you for keeping your money in the bank. And that's referred to as, somebody tell me?
Return.
And it's also referred to as?
Interest.
Interest. I love it. It's interest. Okay. Our rate of return is our interest rate. All right. So notice that we have the rate of return at 6%. So there are two things that are going to really affect how this money works out. It's the rate of return and the percent that you put in. The percent you put in turns out to be also the addition to principal, because the percent gets multiplied times your money, and that gives you the dollar amount. So the percent that you put away as a dollar amount is called addition to principal. So in this first line here, year 0, I put 10% away, which is $4,000, right? And then I'm getting 6% from the bank. And we all know this is not really just a bank. This is long-term savings with stocks and bonds and things like that, which gives you much better rate of return typically than a bank will for just a basic savings account. Notice this rate of return, this percent is higher than the interest rate for your car or for your house. Okay, so those loans are okay to take out because the interest rates are low, and you kind of have to take those kinds of loans out in life. But if I had a credit card at 22% interest, I'm not getting enough money back in my investments to make up for that 22% I'm spending on my interest with my credit cards. Okay, now I'm going to do something else just to blow your minds a little bit. I'm going to pretend that this is debt instead of savings. So I'm going to change this to 22%. This is not, I mean, this is if I was spending a certain amount every year. But let's say I had my 22% as a credit card, then I would, look how much more I would owe than I would have made in savings. Twice as much, okay? So Debt works the exact same way as savings. So always keep that in mind, except debt is much more expensive. All right. So anyway, our rate of return is 6%. If this goes up, our money goes up. If the addition to principal goes up, which is our percentage, same as our percentage here, our money goes up. So what I want you to do real quick is double the amount that you have for your percentage. So I'm going to change mine to 20%, and I'm going to see what happens. Okay, so change it to double however much you put in, and let's see what happens to your number.
How do you change it and make it like the same thing?
I'll show you. I'll do that one more time. So you click in the very first cell, C2, the one that's under percent of yearly salary invested for retirement. This blue one here, you click underneath that where I have 10% written. I'm going to type 20. I'm going to put my cursor in the bottom right-hand corner so it becomes a black plus. I'm going to drag all the way down, and I'm going to let it go. For me,
So you just press C what?
I put my cursor in the bottom corner after
Okay.
I type my number. I put my cursor in the bottom right corner and drag.
Oh wow, I have $1 million now.
So here, mine about doubled. Okay, now hit Control Z and take it back to the original amount. Yeah, I think you'll have to do it twice. Control Z.
Oh, that's
twice.
sad.
So the only thing you have control over, there's two things you have control over when you save your money. One is how much you put in there, and two is how long you leave it in. And I want you to look at your ending balance and see how it starts getting bigger faster and faster the longer you leave it in. As a matter of fact, I am going to do this for you. I'm going to graph it so you can see. So of course this is mine, yours will look different, and you don't have to graph yours. You can if you want. I just want you to see. But do you see with the graph what happens with our data? Do you see that it looks more like exponential growth than just a straight line? So what that means is the longer you leave it in, the faster the money grows, the bigger it gets faster. Any questions? All right, so this is what we'd like you to do because Mrs. Cook and I are going to be checking these. And if you got a little behind today and you didn't quite finish, then just take some time when we get off the call to finish it up. So the first thing we'd like for you to do is on your budget, we would like for you to take a screenshot. So I'm going to do it right now so you can see. So you're going to take a screenshot of your budget, and really all we need is this much. Okay, you're going to take that screenshot, you're going to go back to your budget page in OneNote, and you won't have all this here, that's my stuff, and you're just going to paste it underneath the attachment. Any questions on how you're going to turn in your budget? Remember that your budget's total difference should be 0, minus 67 here, but you're not done until you've balanced your budget and it's a 0 for the difference, okay? That's how you're done. You're gonna do the same thing with your retirement. So here you can zoom in and out with your fingers. That's what I'm doing. I'm just using 2 fingers to zoom in and out. So zoom out just enough to be able to capture all of it, and then do a screenshot of the whole thing. Go back to your OneNote, click on retirement, and paste it under the attachment. All right, and make sure that your percentage is the percentage based on your budget. Any questions? Can I have everyone turn your videos on, please, before we go?
We just put in our budget, we put the the SNP of our budget spreadsheet, and then in the retirement, we put our retirement SNP.
That's right.
All right.
Ms.
thank you.
Williams,
Yes.
should we round our percent to the 10th?
Yes.
Okay.
Any other questions before I wrap up?
How do you
Uh,
take a snip?
Oh, you do control shift S.
Control Shift S, or you can go to your SNP. You can just
You
go
can
in
look
here and type SNP.
and then you can hit new and it will pop up.
Okay, thank you.
So
Miss
your Snip and Sketch and the snipping tool, those are two different programs. If you do Control Shift S, that is your Snip and Sketch program.
There's also at the bottom right for your notifications thing, you can click on that little like text bubble, whatever it is, and then there should be a thing at the bottom right. There's all these squares, and the bottom right square says screen snip.
Okay, so what I hope we have learned today, and I wish we had more time to do discussions, but what I hope we have learned today are a couple things. First of all, it's important to research a career before you spend time and money investing in that career. Make sure it's something you can get a job in and it's something that sounds enjoyable. Okay, and you're probably going to change your mind a bunch of times before you make your decision. Number two, you have to live on less money than you make if you want to put money into savings. And you always have to have short-term savings and long-term savings. You want to start saving right away. Talk to your parents about savings, okay? Talk to your parents about having a short-term savings account, which means just a regular savings account in a bank, and start the conversation with your families about retirement savings. I know that sounds crazy when you're 12 and 13, but it's not, because the longer your money is in savings, long-term savings, the more it's going to grow, and then the faster it's going to grow, and the sooner you'll become financially independent. Okay? The other thing is, every single one of you is perfectly capable of becoming financially independent without someone else doing it for you. You're all very smart, very capable, and you got this. If you ever have questions, feel free to ask, okay? So finish this up if you got a little behind, no biggie, just finish it up, and Mrs. Cook and I will be checking for it tomorrow morning, okay? If you have questions, stay on the line. Otherwise, have a wonderful flex day. Go outside, enjoy the sunshine. By the way, Flash Mob was canceled. I only had 3 people sign up. So sad. I'll offer it again later. Bye.
Bye, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
So our annual invested retirement percentage should be the same as our monthly, right?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have to put anything in the linear growth page?
No, that was just for me to teach you, so you can see.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Miss Williams.
Yeah.
So you know that thing where you divide your retirement thing with your monthly income?
Mm-hmm.
What happens if you get 1%?
Are you sure it's 1 and not 10?
Because I keep getting that, and I think something is wrong. I think I'm doing
Okay,
something.
so why don't you share your screen with me? I'll quit sharing.
Pull it up.
Yeah. Teachers, thank you so much for all your help. I'll let you all go too. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you. That was great.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys. Good work.
Thank you. Excellent job.
Thank
job.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
All right. So I got this, and I kept dividing it and doing the same thing over and over again.
Okay, let me look at it. Okay, well, first of all, you put your yearly income instead of your monthly income.
Oh, okay.
And then your taxes, oh yeah, never mind, that'll adjust. So for income, click where your $75,000 is. I want you to type equals. Type equals.
Before?
Yeah, equals. before the 75,000. Then after the 75,000, put a forward slash. That's a backward slash. Yeah, and then 12. Now hit enter. There you go. You make 6,000 a month, not 70,000 a month. That was for your year. So go back up, go back up. So you're in debt, $1,827. So you're going to have to go back up and readjust. Yeah, your retirement's way too big.
So my total difference should be 0?
Yeah. So just play with those numbers until you get it to 0.